idea how to do it. All right, I guess I'm going live. I see myself.
Hey, it's Dan. Don't want to get sued and their employees to get hurt in any way, shape, or form. A friend of mine who, hey, listen, parking structure, they're getting rid of the security guards there, and everybody's freaking out because now homeless people are sleeping there. Where before they had the guy in the cart that would go by and just deter crime. And guess what? Car thefts are up. People breaking into stuff. People leaving their car door open accidentally and forgetting are being held up and getting laptops stolen and iPads and phones and everything like that. But this is chaotic, okay? I mean, you idiots in Chicago voted Brandon Johnson for your mayor. And again, crime, crazy. Hey, listen, we can't, worry about this stuff. We can't have testing for these kids and, label them. Are you kidding me? You have to have a test. How about you want to join the football team? Well, how fast can you run, Dan? I'm not very fast. I'm not very big. And, but I want to be on the team, so you got to let me on the team because it's only fair. No, guys, it's not fair. Can't play football, guys. You understand? I'm not big enough. I can't wrestle in a heavyweight division. I can't box in a heavyweight division because I don't weigh enough and I'm not tall enough. Do you know what I mean? Well, no. Oh, no.
So do I have anybody on with me?
Control it this way. This is lunacy. It's absolute lunacy.
I don't know how this works.
My children, okay?
I don't know how this works. Let me see. I'm live. There's 35 comments, but I don't see anybody here. Leave studio, mute, stop cam, settings, invite. Countdown. Do I need a countdown? What a nightmare. This is what I hate about. This is what I hate about new things. Let me look at the comments. I don't know if I'm going to see if Ham wants to join. Can you are here. All right. I didn't know where the comments are. This is called StreamYard. And I'm just trying to use it because if I can make it work, I can have co-hosts of note. But let me see if let me see if I can get him. As you know, he's traveling. Oh boy. All right, let me see if I can get him. I don't know how to mute this. Oh, here I can mute right there. All right, he'll join us 2 minutes. I have to call him back, so I caught him in by surprise. So you guys can hear me. Great. So I'm learning a new system. This is what Not Legal Advice uses. And I wish I could make this a little bit bigger, but that's all right. There's some reason there's a lot of white space down here that I don't need. Maybe you can write. Maybe I can write there. Anyway, well, I'll learn as we go. All right. And I'll learn as we go. So Ham's going to call in. What? I'm not in the picture. I'm on the left. Swell. But you see, I don't know how to do this. I'll just have to learn. You know, most people would read the instructions first, but not me. Something like that maybe is better. Why am I zoomed in? I don't know why I'm zoomed in. It's a good question. I'm looking for all the buttons. And I don't know. I don't know why I'm zoomed in. Someday, not right. I can hit some buttons, but then I might disconnect you. And what's banners? Brand. Wow, I can do all sorts of things I didn't know. Anyway, I had a physical today, and for those of you who have pointed out that I need to watch my blood pressure, you were right. It's not bad, but I do have to watch it. So no more getting upset with anybody. Hello? Let me just I'm putting you up near the mic. All right, go ahead. Here's the voice.
All right, everyone. Working hard. Again, it's not easy to travel and bounce around by yourself, but that's what I've been doing. I just had a phone conversation with a friend at Univest, and we got some insight on how they operate from someone who worked on their desk. All right, so what we're hearing and what you see is, believe it or not, that's what they do. They really attack and go after the shorts. And this guy didn't know about finger motion, but he does now. And he says their pattern is exactly what you think it is. He goes, you just don't know when they come, but when they come, you'll see free market, you'll see 100 million shares trade, and then it'll be done. That's the pattern. So he said that you're going to see pre-market movement, maybe up 60%, things like that, and then it doubles from there and triples from there. That's their pattern. So I don't work there. I never did. But again, that's their pattern. I told you before, Wall Street's a small place. So for all the retail people here, Wall Street is a small place. I told you we have many professional people that are here that I know that worked on trading desk, and we all dig and get the information. People think that we're posting rumors. We post what we hear. We can't say it's a fact, so you have to address it as a rumor unless I can prove that it is. So stop yelling at me that I posted a rumor. If we heard a rumor, this is what we hear. If you don't want to hear it, don't read it. I don't care if the stock goes up or down or sideways. All right? So again, I couldn't care less. I'm here for the main event. You guys can get in, get out, do whatever's best for you. I tell you every day, this is a tough game. I've been doing this for 3 years straight, not 3 weeks. So all the bullshit artists that keep saying we're pumpers, we're doing this, 3 years. The stock went to 10, and I'm still here. GTI went to 9, we're still here. We're not going away. If you just think about it, if you want to call us dirtbags, scumbags, whatever you want to call, we called the police 12 times. We went to their door. Tell me how many people go do that. All right, so we showed our cards. we're educating you on security fraud.
And
there are companies, William, there are companies that are reaching out to me through friends that have been decimated. I just spoke to a company that has $100 million in cash in the bank, a real business, and the market cap of their company is $20 million.
What?
So imagine working for that company. It's not like they can go take the $100 million and just start dishing it out to themselves.
Right.
Okay. They have no idea what to do. They're doing everything right. And imagine wasting 3 or 4 years of your life to have a market cap of $20 million and you raised all the money because your business is real. It's worthless. Who would want to do those jobs? You make more money working at Walmart. And that's what people don't understand. When you're a CEO or an executive of a public company, you work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And to make no money and have your stock worthless, it doesn't even pay. So again, I'm just presenting things that we hear, things that we dig up. I didn't work there. We know someone that knows someone who did. Okay? And their pattern is very aggressive. And they attack, and attack. What day did they attack? It's like the Japanese with Pearl Harbor. Tora. I don't know. I just don't know. All right, but you can see the stock has got accumulation. Again, I speak to many people throughout the day. I'm not going to tell you who's buying. Okay, that's not for you to know. The people that I know that have been acquiring a lot. I have meetings tomorrow with other people that, can be potentially big buyers. And that's how it's done on Wall Street. If you want to get your story out there, you have to go ring doorbells like a door-to-door salesman and educate people on it. They make their own decisions on it. I'm not a broker. I don't get compensated from it. And why do I care? Because I can't stand making short sellers. They ruin people's lives. And if we don't stop it, I feel like my destiny here is to really close this out. And then eventually, I told you I'd like to do a cancer company and finish up and see you later, and I'm done. Whether I'm rich, poor, indifferent, at least I know I can leave this planet, and I did the right thing. That's how I feel. Anyway, that's it. But anything?
There's everyone's happy. They're glad you're talking. Saying it's good. I just used the same service that Not Legal Advice uses, and I'm learning. There don't seem to be a lot of questions. Again,
listen, this is a tough game. But, I mean, just look at it. The amount of information that we have people digging up and trying to put this puzzle together so that we could put a dagger in the hearts of these criminals, okay, is staggering. People call all day. I hear this, I hear that, I hear this, I got that. If you invested in NVIDIA or Apple Computer, you'd be sitting here in the dark not knowing anything. You don't realize how much information is flowing here, okay? It can't be correct all the time because we can't confirm it. I can't confirm what everybody says, but we're hearing information that makes sense.
That's right.
I told you, people bought sizable positions in options. People are still buying sizable positions. Does that make it real? Does it make it happen? No. Okay. But again, people believe that this is happening. And, just look at the prices of the options. And just so you know, anyone who does venture out there, the 11s, the 12s, the 13s, those are your crapshoot options. And the 11s are the same price as the 14s. So before you buy anything, at least look at the price, the markets in these things. I think they're all offered at 40 cents. It doesn't even those are all crapshoot options. And if you were playing options, I say the same thing over again. If you bought the 5s, the 6s, and the 7s, as the stock moves up and you make enough money, if you made 40 cents, you could sell your calls and buy the 11s, the 12s at 40 cents, use the profit, and you don't even have to look at it for 5 more weeks. You have a free bet for 5 weeks. To me, that is the ultimate in option trading. And I traded zillions of options. If I can have a free position of 100, 200, 500 calls, whatever it may be, that it allows me, that's the ultimate. And you play for free. If you can do that, all you needed to do is hit one time, and you sit there and say, oh my God, I had 100 calls, the stock went up 20, and I made myself $200,000 or $300,000, and I didn't even invest a penny. It was just profit. That is the ultimate. And you sit there and you say, well, that doesn't happen. It does happen. Smart people, that's how people trade, okay? That's how I positioned myself many times. I just didn't go out there and buy options and close my eyes and just wish and hope. You don't know. I didn't have information, inside information. So when I took advantage of option movement, I said, okay, I'll sell these options that I bought. I took the 50-cent profit and I bought the cheaper options, and I don't have to look at it. You know what? 8 or 9 of them would go to zero because they're crapshoot options. And then the one time it hits, you say, oh God, I made $20, $30 on this thing and having 100 or 200 calls. That's $600,000 I just made for nothing.
So
that makes up for all the little misses.
So we've had 3 times it didn't work. We're getting close to the 1 or 2 that do.
Well, listen, again, but the stock is giving you opportunities.
Oh yeah.
To buy the dip when it goes back up. Listen, if I bought 5,000 shares and you make 40 cents and you sell it, you made 40 cents. You could buy 50 calls for free. 40 cents times 50. This is the same amount, $2,000. You can do it with stock also. You buy 1,000 shares, it runs up 40 cents or 30 cents. You sell it, you make $300, and you can go buy $300 worth of calls for free. This is like, it's not a horse race. You gotta be able to stay alive. The key is stay alive. How do you stay alive? I just described to you how to do it.
I think it's exceptional advice, and in all my years, nobody ever explained it to me the way you have. But I don't know. The other side of it, last week, 2 weeks ago, I think, it's fraud out there. And
listen, we all thought, just look at it this way. I put up this stuff from Barn Chart that this stock was 100% buy. It had the strongest, the strongest momentum. Everything was super positive. I'm not a chart guy, but I just looked at it. How does the stock go from being the strongest technical patterns to being knocked down $2 overnight over what? Nothing. So these chart patterns are very deceiving. It was strong. It would look like it was going to explode. But when you get criminals that their back is against the wall, like a rat, they always say when you trap a rat, they're going to do anything to get out of it, right? So that's who we have. This is the government, your government, the SEC, looking the other way. We've done everything we can to expose them. And you have to understand that. And I got it. The risk, I got the risk. I got it. But to me, the reward is something that I believe is a life-changing situation because of security fraud. It's not life-changing because finger motion is going to be the next Apple computer. It's going to go from here to 10,000. It's going to go from here to 10,000 because of fraud. These guys have sold so many shares, they have no choice but to buy them back. That's the bet. That's what's going on here. And the evidence is posted every day by the guy Dozer, D-O-Z-E-R. I forget, on Twitter. He posted every day at 5:30. And I never met the guy. I know he's an LSU fan and I beat his pants off. But again, he does it every day. Look at, it's not legal advice. I had a call with him. These guys are attorneys. They even said it. They said the Kramers are the biggest scumbags ever. Everything on FINRA, the SEC, tells you they're bad actors. The DTC caught Alpine, their prime broker. It's right there. We didn't have that information when we started this thing. We just heard someone paid off a note. That was it. And now after digging and reaching out to people on Wall Street, we found out that what? Someone found the law document with the DTC. Someone found this. Someone found the Avid Trader did those videos outlining all the criminal charges these guys have faced. I mean, they have a criminal. SEC charges. They should be criminal. And they still allow them to run around. I'm not letting them run around. I don't even understand how anybody lets them run around. So, again, we're presenting it. I'm sure if I dug into other companies, I could find more fraud everywhere. But we have to finish off what we started here. So, and I stay with it. I can go drift and go make money in other places. I met people that are Bitcoin people, and this is for everybody's information. I posted it. They think Bitcoin's going to take a run to $100,000 a share, $100,000 a coin. How does it affect that Wolf and Riot and Mara? Those things should all take off. Now, I don't trade Bitcoin, but I don't own it. But it is interesting to know other things. So I don't. If anybody plays Bitcoin, that's what I'm hearing from big Bitcoin players.
Let's talk about other football teams. It's always the same.
I'm just saying that. I'm just saying, but you hear things. I like to tell you, if you play it, good luck. I don't care. You know, that's how Wall Street works. I hope you do make a fortune on it, whatever you do.
So do you, in Finger, do you think, we kind of built up the excitement 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, now it's the fourth month. What are the odds this is the month? Do you feel like it could be now? And there's no guarantees, as we've learned.
It's like candid camera. When you least expect it, you're going to go to the bathroom, and you guys are the stock is going to take off like a rocket, and you're going to say, "What happened?" And you're going to. That's how I feel. Yeah, there's nothing else to say. That's exactly what I see going on. It goes when it happens. It's loaded. We can see that. The options are telling you that people feel it's going to go. You don't have to play them. I don't tell anybody to go play them, but understand them. And that's what you have to pay attention to. You just have to watch all this stuff. That's it. That's why when you look at it, a trading desk has a lot of people on a trading desk because a lot of people have what? Eyes. What do the eyes do? We all help each other. Hey, your stock's breaking out. There's bad news on this stock. I never traded technology stocks, so I was in the auto stocks or the food stocks when I was on the desk. I only knew about the stocks in my group, but maybe someone saw something that I missed. And someone would stand up and yell, "Hey, Campbell Soup had bad numbers, be careful." And I say, "All right, thank you." That's what we did. That's how a trading desk works.
I'm trying to use Not Legal Advice's system, and I'm getting a lot of comments. Not Legal Advice asks if your middle name is, I can't remember what he said, Bacon or something. It was, it was funny. One guy's asking the GTI dividend, does it have T2 settlement? No, it doesn't. It's just going to suddenly be able to be traded.
Again, remember, that was all done to get the brokerage firms to commit unregistered unregistered offering is what they're going to do. So if it pops up into the account, the company has no idea who's getting what. It's like the whole system is just make believe. But there's one thing that gets them: margin. They have to meet their margin calls, and that's why they always sell the stock down. I told you, if I was a short seller, I'd take this stock to the moon. I would suck everybody in. Come on in, come buy it. It's safe. And then I destroy it. But they can't let it go up. It got to 589. They knocked it down 3 times today, right? Every time we got to 589, 590, knock it down. Don't let it go through. Why? What's the big deal? So they're trying to say, if you do buy it, they're giving you a 30-cent discount. We call that the Kramer discount. They shuffle.
Yep. And most people are talking back and forth. I mean, it was tough on people last week, but Chud McGruff says he did exactly what you said, and he made money and used it to buy more. He didn't lose money. It wasn't a huge trade, and that's right.
You educate yourself. You can take this, what I just taught you, professionals have been doing for a long time, okay? All these bright people you think that hit all these home runs, we're not that smart. We're just taking free shots and look, and then don't look. That's how we operate. That's how you do it. You think we take all our chips, buy a stock, and we sit there and just pray it's going to go up? We don't know. When it goes, it goes. I told you 100 stories, if anyone followed me, how many times I sold things, and the next day they went through the roof. I told you the story about the time I hit the duck going to the office. I sold 300 calls. I think it was Avon, Apple Victor Peter. I forget what price it was, maybe $34. I had the 35s. I paid 2 5/8 for them. I was supposed to sell it by 10 o'clock in the morning if nothing came out. I don't even know what I was looking for. And I made sure I got there at 9:59 after hitting a duck, getting a flat tire in a rainstorm. I made it to the office, drenched, dirty, and I made sure I sold my options at 10 o'clock. I sold them at 10 o'clock. The stock was up a little bit. I made 30 cents on my calls. So I forget, maybe $9,000, $10,000, $11,000 I made. And I was like, everyone's looking at me like, what are you so crazy about? I got to get out at 10 o'clock. I sell them there. After I sold them, the next thing they said is the stock stopped trading and it went up 5 points. So by me racing to the office to sell them, I lost $150,000 by 1 minute. So it happens. It happens to everyone. We all got these stories. I probably got 50 more like it. So I don't know when they're going to go, but I just follow what I'm being told to do. That's it. That's in certain names. But in this one, I educated myself on it. I dug into everything I could possibly dig into. There's nothing more I can get.
I think mechanically, they obviously fired Lynn Partners. They obviously hired Univest. Due diligence has been done for at least 60 days, if not longer. And the S3's filed, the 8K's filed, and it seems like when approval comes, what else do they need before they do something? But who knows?
Again, I get the gentleman that worked there, the information that was relayed to me is that when they're ready, and when it's ready, these guys they attack, and attack until they carry them out. That's what he told me.
Couldn't happen to a nicer group like Lynn Partners.
I can't stop the up and down. Who's trying to sell it down from 590 to 569? Who cares? 20 cents. You can see the manipulation. They offer it lower. It's the same.
What's weird, although I don't know how the Lynn Partners clients are trading, what's weird is even when they get it down, they don't cover.
They never cover. So if anyone who thinks that they cover, just look at the trading in the stock. They never cover. There is no sellers. The only sellers are them.
So they keep punishing us. And yeah, it hurt last week and the week, the last month. And they got one in, but it's the battles. That's just a battle. That's not the war.
That's what I try to say it. We're here to win the war. There's a skirmish, a little fight, and they attacked us, and I couldn't stop it. I can't stop it. And it digs in. The facts are here. I don't pay attention to the bashes, so people don't think if you are a basher, I could give a rat's ass. I could care less. You can sit there and try all these stupid techniques on me. I do not care. I've been doing this too long. I go back to the Raging Bull days where there was nothing but bashes. Okay? So I'm a seasoned vet. I don't care what they say. I know the facts, what I see in front of me. All they yell is nonsense to get you to sell. It's deceiving. I put up the Basher's Handbook. It's exactly what they do. All they're here to do is to drive you crazy and read this shit. Oh, Ham's a pumper. This one, the butcher, the baker. It's all nonsense. It's the same thing every time.
But the thing is, we are fighting fraud. It's they sell every day, so it's tough. What we're trying to do is difficult, and
there's no question. But we change the game. That's how big this battle is. I keep trying to tell everyone.
So one guy's asking you about, I don't know, this is either an insider joke or you will say, what? He's asking you about Easter Bunny, Patrick Byrne, and Bob O'Brien.
Yeah, what about him?
No, let's say.
He did exist. He did exist. And I met him in Vegas, yes. I met him with Wes Christian in Vegas.
When you meet with investors, are you able to talk about Univest or not?
You know what I know about Univest.
Yeah. No, I know.
What's there to say? I don't know. I'm digging to get the information like you are.
But is it part of one guy's saying, is it part of your story, part of your pitch?
Well, if they are assassins and want to come in and kill short sellers, then yes, I would have to bring it up. Yeah. And I will bring it up. Yeah. But again, I can't guarantee you, but they're doing something for a reason, and the reasoning is right in front of you. Listen, there's been, I'm trying to think of a stock, I can't remember. I think it was IGEN, IGEN. And the company, it's a little, I'll give it to you as best I can if I remember. They did something with, they got everyone's information on the medical side in the records. And I forgot the name of the big pharmaceutical company. And they sued them because these guys, they use their product on all their clients. And basically, at the end of the day, all the data belonged to this company, IGEN. And I can't remember the name of the European pharmaceutical company. They sued each other, and eventually the pharmacy won, but they lost all the data. So the stock, when they won the case, the stock went down 15 points. My friends called me up, and they were experts on it, said that the pharmaceutical company, when they won the case, okay, they wound up losing all their clients, all the information to this company. They had to turn around. The stock went down 15. If you go look it up, IGEN was the symbol. They turned around. The pharmaceutical company had to buy them. The stock went up 35 points. I remember being told you had to buy it. It went down 18, then up 35. And because of my friends, I was like a lead guy on that. And I told everyone on the street, including the biggest players that you probably know about, everyone did it. And we caught it perfect. All right, because we had the knowledge and we understood what the lawsuit meant. And, I can't remember the name. If you look up IGEN, go read that story and see exactly what happened. You'll see exactly what I said. It went straight down. Everyone thought the company lost, and it turned around. The company won because now the pharmaceutical company lost the whole business. These guys controlled the business. So if you want to Google, read that story. It's a great story. IGEN was the company, IGEN.
What you just said reminds me of your point that if the story's the same, you don't change. And the story, we know what's going on with Finger. Doesn't mean we know when they're going to pull the trigger, if they're going to pull the trigger. But we know the setup, we know the story, and it hasn't changed. So
it's only gotten stronger. They kicked their banker out. The banker, before they got rid of him, Benchmark, gave a $5 target on it, right? A $5 target, and it said they were willing to expand it on the upside. What's the rush to sell it yesterday at 506?
Yeah, but that guy Mike Dion in Seeking Alpha said as soon as it goes over 5, the people at Benchmark automatically go to a sell. Yeah. Idiocy. And Seeking Alpha publishes this. It feels like every angle the shorts have covered, except for Ham and other people on that are fighting with you. So we'll get them one of these times.
We've seen this game. We know the game. And, all their tricks are worthless, but educating everyone about it, now you know about it. So, again, you don't have to buy the stock. I could care less if you do or not. But you please educate your friends. Tell them to watch it, understand it, because what you're seeing here will help save you your money from getting ripped off. At least you understand it.
So
if you're in a stock and you see a company start to do stupid things like hiring or raising money from a bad lender, go check out the lender immediately. Make sure you know who they are, what they do, what their past is. And if you see that they've had a couple of shaky deals, turn around, sell your stock, run away.
Moody Waters is standing in standstill traffic. He's driving out of Toronto. He's glad he has a full tank of gas and ham on the radio. Do you think other stocks that Lynn Partners has quote unquote financed could have a squeeze if this one runs? My guess is this might be more specific.
They have the benches so they control them.
Right.
Plus their shareholder bases are uneducated.
Right. Exactly.
Listen, any stock that lends in that has a debenture on it, they'll just convert and cover their shorts because they have that debenture, they have that piece of paper. When you don't have the piece of paper, you're exposed.
Do you think Finger is reacting to Bank of America saying that investors should stay away from Chinese stocks?
Bank of America's got more.
Merrill Lynch. That's activity. Merrill Lynch. Yeah.
Go to Merrill Lynch and look at all the fraudulent activity. They're probably short the stocks. That's why.
Yeah, Merrill's the one with the $5 rule.
Listen, I believe in the USA, but I actually believe more in China than I do in the USA because of what I see going on here. And you got to be insane to play the U.S. equity markets unless you know who you're playing with and what's going on. Otherwise, you're nuts. And I say that every day. One
person's asking, I didn't know it was out there, but can you elaborate on Fidelity calling to borrow Finger?
Yes. They called one of the biggest shareholders today, and he actually told me in person that Fidelity wanted to borrow all the shares, told them to pound salt, get lost. And throughout the day, many people posted on Twitter they've gotten calls. A gentleman posted from the UK, said they actually lent out his shares without his knowledge, so he called that in. I had a quick call with 5 people, and one of them lent it out, and he called it in. He had 10,000 shares that he lent out. The others made sure that they didn't lend out their shares. So they'll do whatever it takes. They make a lot of money from stock loan. You know, if they lend your shares out, they probably charge them, let's say, 50 cents a share a day to borrow it. You're going to get 2 cents. They're going to make 48 cents. So why would you help a broker-dealer like a Merrill Lynch or anybody or Fidelity? They make all their money into stock loan. I put up the stock loan story from Patrick Byrne, the easy to borrow story. We put up William's story about Patrick Byrne, where the stock loan, they make 85% of their profit from stock loan. Remember, trading stocks is not easy. The biggest and the best get bagged, right? They don't win all the time.
That's true.
How are they winning? How does Citadel and Virtue and all these other guys winning all the time?
By cheating.
But they're cheating. That's it.
Does Univest have to wait for the S3 approval?
I don't.
The thing is, it's likely they have to, but it doesn't mean they're going to do something. But it's likely they have to wait for the S3 to be approved. Go on. I interrupted you.
No. My friend said that when they go, they go.
Right.
So whatever it is that's holding them back or whatever they're doing, I don't.
I mean, you have to ask yourself, what would they wait for after the S3 is approved
Well, that's the biggest question. I ask that question all the time is, why would you wait?
I mean,
I would be accumulating every day.
We were all...
they're not out here doing it today.
Exactly. Not legal advice says the long buying will overwhelm the shorts. I think he's right, although that's speculation, counselor. How long will it be for the S3 to get approved?
I have the same opinion. Everyone's allowed opinions. It's not advice. I got it. But my opinion is that you cannot fight the world. They try to do it in GameStop, and the world destroyed them, right?
Your Honor, speculative.
Right. If the world destroyed them in GameStop, the funniest thing is that how GameStop, the biggest short squeeze in the U.S. due to naked short selling and retail investors breaking them, has gone from any publication, no one ever talks about it again, right? Off the map. That should be in every textbook, every college student, everybody should understand what happened there.
KYP says, anytime, any place.
So I got to blow out my sneaker. Does she know what that means?
Blow out your sneaker? I don't know what
I have a blowout in my sneaker.
Oh, did you something with your flip flop on a?
my pickleball shoe. It's an old Brooklyn thing. We used to always drag our toes when we played ball in the streets and everything. So dragging your feet and your toes. My toe is now almost out of my shoe. That's what we call a blowout.
So as soon as I Finger closed at 5:56.
Repair kit, I'll be out there to get it. What's that?
Finger closed at 556. So there's that.
I do believe slow and steady is the best march up. Accumulation, they need volatility. You see them try to create the volatility in stock. They let it lift, and then they come and smash it down quickly because they want you to panic. It's the same pattern. So why chase it up to 590? If you wanted to buy 1,000 shares, you buy 100 and you pay 590, big deal. Then you buy 100 at 580, 100 at 570, 100 at 550, and then you have 300 more shares you can always buy at your leisure when you want them. Never run in and buy all your shares at the same time, because otherwise that just means that you're lazy and you don't care. And when the stock ticks down, you cry because you paid too much for it. Don't blame us. I just told you how to do it.
Don't call us. We'll call you.
Right.
A lot of interesting comments, but nothing new. A lot about the S3, a lot about where can we place orders to sell, high, how high, and all
if you're
that.
a brokerage firm, a lot of people have problems that brokerage firms don't let them do it that high. If you do, put all your shares out there for sale at the highest level you can. And just be aware if the stock starts moving to cancel it. You have to be on your toes. All right. So but again, if you don't have it out there, your brokerage firm may try to borrow the shares from you without your knowledge. So why not try to be on your toes, do your part. If you do own the shares, put them out there for sale. And, at the end of the day, it cancels. You can put it out there again tomorrow. That's it.
Kitties Never Die says that she heard a while ago that Fidelity was calling everyone with 10,000 shares or more.
They did that before. And so you understand, the last time they did that, the stock ran to 10. So there is a correlation between trying to borrow shares that they can't get. The short sellers have to buy them back. That's what happens.
Too bad it wasn't last week.
All right. Listen, people, do you understand? Besides the short seller, in fear that they're going to jail when they get blown up here, they know our game plan. Their game plan is to short and distort. Our game plan is to go from one to the next and slaughter them one at a time. So if the SEC is listening, you're allowing us to do this new business model, and we really don't care. You've been robbing everybody since 1988, the cover of Forbes. It's 35 years, I think, if you calculate. Am I right? 35 years, 1988 to 2024?
I don't know. I'm not good at
arithmetic.
It's about
35 years. 35 years this crime has existed. Trillions have been stolen. People lost their lives, everything, their pensions, everything over this fraud. And they leave us all yelling at each other because the stock went down.
Exactly.
I told you to buy it, and you told William, and I did
exactly.
this, and I did that. And they blame us. They turn us against each other.
Exactly.
And I'm trying to tell you, we're standing tall. We're not running away. We don't run away when it goes up. We don't run away when it goes down. And that's the number one thing I was taught on a trading desk. When you get a shitty trade and you lose a lot of money, you got to tell a client what happened. Get on the phone, apologize, do your best, but you have to never hide. Right at it.
We were taught the same thing, and it's the hardest phone call to make. But people respect you if you just tell them.
Right.
They can't handle it if you're not there to talk to.
I told you about my friend. He became a broker. He became a commodity broker in San Francisco way back when. He got his whole family, wanted to do a trade. The analyst came out and told everybody to short lumber. True story. He put his wife's whole family in it, his friends, everybody he knew from San Francisco in there. Mount St. Helens blew up. Lumber went up, limit up, meaning that he couldn't even cover. I think it went up, limit up 3 days in a row. So you can't cover. Imagine being short and you cannot cover. So his whole family got destroyed, crushed them all. The analyst came out and said it was an act of God. And my friend begged some of his family members, some of them were wealthy, to do it again. He got them to short it again. And guess what? Mount St. Helen blew up again. He wound up getting divorced, had to leave San Francisco, and he lives in New York. And I always told him I wanted to buy that story because it's the best story I've ever heard.
I have a better one. A client of mine, a friend of mine, she invented when you swipe your credit card, she invented that. And she started the company with her husband called Verifone. She was a jeweler. But anyway, they ordered all these machines. They took money against the house, friends' houses, and they ordered from China all these card swipers to put out. That was their first order, I think, was Sears. Anyway, it was on KAL 007 or whatever, the flight that the Chinese shot down, all of the equipment. So all of their money, all of the investment was on that plane when they shot it down. But she said, you don't worry. I'm very smart. I have insurance. So anyway, but it's amazing. That's the start to Verifone. And they sold to yeah. But that's how it started. I mean, it's funny. So there's so many things to fight in life.
Again, this is someone just sent me a story on microcap. I just sent it to you, microcap daily.
A closer look at it's 500% surge. Is it
They said William is behind it.
Is it a hit piece or a?
I don't know. I mean, I'm talking to you.
I'm talking to you too. You talking to me? You talking to me? Let me see what it says. Finger motion continues to gain traction in recent months, gaining over 500% since June 9. If you're reading this now, you're likely eager to understand the reasoning behind it. Based on their latest announcements, there are no dramatic changes fundamentally to warrant such action, yet their stock continues on significant upward trend. From what we've seen, it appears the force of retail's banding together to combat against potentially creating the ultimate short squeeze. And then you can.
That's a good piece, then, right?
It's a good piece. Let's see if it has Avid or ham or.
I'm gonna get ice cream after dinner tonight as a dessert. I deserve it now.
Yeah, that's when my calls always end. Smile, Arthur. Later on, we'll get ice cream.
Again, listen. Truth comes out every day at 5:30. All right. Truth, the real short position doesn't exist. That's nonsense. So don't pay attention to it. All it is a sign of what they're actively trying to do. That's all I use that for. The data comes out every day at 5:30 on Twitter. Those that you can see it yourself. The funny thing about today's trading, skipping finger for a second, was GTII, where GTI was trading at a 5-cent spread. And in the morning, it didn't even trade up to, then it went to 78 cents real quick. I don't know how Finger and GTI are attached at the hip. For some reason they are, and I don't know why. And I couldn't answer it. So
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think it's spelled HAM.
Oh. Well, again, the most important thing is education, 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 education. If you don't understand it, please speak up. You know, and it's the most important thing that you can do. The gentleman who told me about that firm just said to me, I hope I helped. I wrote back, yes. So again, the gentleman that gave me the scoop on that firm just asked me he said he hoped he helped, and I wrote back, yes, you did. Thank you. So again, Wall Street's a small place. People work in places that have people, friends that did it, and that's how you get the feeling of what's going on. Everyone has the same trading pattern. So if the police wanted to find my trading pattern, it's the same thing. This idiot buys calls, sells them, and then buys cheap calls, and then doesn't look at it for a month. That's what he does. And he hopes it works. That's my trading pattern. That's what I do.
Someone asked, not legal advice, is it true that time on the S3 can be as little as 15 days from the 11th? And he said yes, but it can be longer too. I'm expecting it within a week.
I don't.
But it's
again,
speculation.
I have no idea about it. But again, that's. I'm looking at a pickleball court. Listen, guys, I'm going to go join into this game.
Go play pickleball. Blow out your flip-flop.
I'll be playing it with One-Toe hanging out. KYP. She's from Brooklyn. She knows we all do that in Brooklyn. That's a Brooklyn thing.
Yeah, she can't wait till she meets you.
I'm trying to help us all out by spreading the word. Wherever it takes me, I go. I set up meetings. I met 3 today. I got a major meeting tomorrow night. And, I'm just going to keep telling the story. And that's how it works.
It's awesome.
All right, guys, let me go. Have a great day.
All right. Thanks, Sam. Bye. All right. So I don't know if I'm using this system to its maximum effect, but there seems to be a lot of bells and whistles that could be useful. Like, it looks like I can share my screen with you. So instead of holding up pieces of paper like this, I could show you, but I'll practice another day. So I had just so you know, you don't need to know, it's not your business, but I had a bad experience myself, shocking experience. I owned some of the 6 calls from last week, and I was kicking myself because I didn't sell them. I got busy on that truck, and then I was, on the phone, and it's just Space Cadet, and it comes to the end of the day, and they're already down, and there was no bid at the end of the day. There's no way to sell them. So I was on the call here too, and then I was kicking myself. Darn it, lost that money. And then this morning, I woke up. I looked on my account, and yesterday I had a charge that showed liquidation fee. They charged me a fee, $25. What's that? And they had exercised my calls. I called in to E-Trade. Well, sir, it was $6.01. I said, for a penny? You exercised them? Are you kidding? I couldn't even get out. Well, it's your responsibility, sir. I said, well, okay, it's what you're going to say. But then yesterday, once they exercised, they sold it at the low yesterday. I say, you sold it without even calling me? I wire money in, or anyway. So I got stung pretty badly by that. Not only was Thursday and Friday bad, it got worse. But anyway, it's over with now. Change the background and put myself somewhere exotic, like Brooklyn. I knew 2 guys that started Celestial Tea in their garage. I built the garage and I did not buy it. Bob, you should have taken, instead of cash for building the garage, you should have taken shares of stock. Skinny Whale, I'm always impressed with your, I say intuition. I don't mean that because you're a woman. I meant it because that is intuition. You sold them earlier in the week because you knew the numbers are manipulated. I was kicking myself all weekend. In retrospect, it's obvious that they weren't going to do anything. But I had very strong information. I couldn't talk about it. I wish I had now, because it turned out to be completely erroneous. But you really did the right thing, and I wish I had, Skinny Whale. They wouldn't let me keep the shares. Not legal advice. They wouldn't let me. I said, why didn't you let me keep them? Anyway, I've got to write a letter. I didn't get mad at them. I Tried to control myself, but all I'm saying is, I guess what I'm saying is when options expire, she said, well, you had to let us know not to exercise. I said, there was no bid. What? Anyway, for a penny. Cost me a nice hit that I had no control of. Well, we exercised them and you sold them at the low. I told her, believe it or not, I said, I think that was coordinated with the shorts. I think the options traders closed that at a penny up, knowing that stock would be exercised around the street without clients knowing, causing a sell-off Monday morning. And these are people that don't locate shares. They sell shares that don't exist. Of course, she asked me if I needed my head examined. E-Trade is my broker. Yeah, it's a good day for Finger. And on top of it, well, I don't know who I'm talking to, but I'll tell Skinny. On top of it, after they did that, I went to buy calls this morning, and my account's blocked. Liquidation only. So I called in yet again, politely. I said, hey, what? There's no problem here. You guys made a decision and another decision. Everything's settled out. I have a huge loss, but there's no problem in the account. There's no outstanding. Why can't I trade? So sure enough, it took 3.5 hours to get it trading again. By that time, Finger had gone from something like 520, 519, 511 up to 528, and then where it is now. I don't know. Being a retail client, trading as a retail person, a retail client, there's a lot of friction. It costs money. You don't get the best executions. When a criminal short gets in trouble, they get a phone call. Oh, well, we'll take care of it. We'll send some shares. So they get another 31 days. If they had just allowed me to keep my shares, I would have made money. I don't know. It's just, I could have sold calls against it. It's just criminal. It's all criminal. And it makes me sick. The investor, in contradiction to what Gary Gensler assures Congress, the United States investor, any investor in the United States securities markets on the retail side gets screwed. Well, see, so your dad got the shares. I didn't get them. But anyway, you can send out links from StreamYard and have guests on the video with you. It's in the invite button. I guess you want me to do that, not legal advice. Who should I invite? Send this link to your guests. But how do I send it to the guests? I have no idea how to send it to the guests. I'd like to learn how to use it looks like I can use it either to draw or to put things up that I can talk about. I would love that aspect, because then I could, I wouldn't need this whiteboard, and I think I'd have a little more clarity in my stories. Email, I just email them? With what? Oh, with my phone, I guess. Well, let's see. Having issues. I can't do it with my phone. I guess I could send it to me and then send it out. It's very confusing. Yeah, I have a margin account. I did, it's a little more complicated. but I brought money in just shy. I don't know. It wasn't quite enough, but that wasn't because I couldn't make it. It's because I miscalculated, but it was 10% off, which could have been solved today. And I said, does a computer make the decision, or does a human being? And she said it's a human being that makes the decision. And I said, well, I didn't make that decision. You exercised it for a penny, and then you sold it without talking to me. Well, it's your responsibility, sir. And I said, I'm sure it is, and I'm sure it's in the contract. But it's a really funny way to doing business. Exercise it, sell it at the low. Anyway, and that's the thing I always tell you, when they have errors, they just sell, they just liquidate. In this case, they hit me with a huge black eye, but they just do it. With the criminals, for some reason, they just carry it over and over and over and over again. The easiest way is to follow a tutorial. That would involve listening. But yes, I could listen to it. The feeling is mutual. I think that's right, Skinny, and I'm going to write a letter. I don't expect anything to happen about it. And then it just it compounded. It compounded by my not being able to redeploy money this morning when the stock was down. But you know what? I've told you guys many, many times that you're not going to get an A+ trading. Your goal should be getting even 40% of the move. But if you can get 50, 60, 70% of the move, you got to count yourself as lucky. And as many blows, and I'm not complaining. I know you guys lost money too. But as many blows that just hit me all of a sudden in 2 days, 3 days, I was like, wow, 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 wow. I think I have to stay in the trade as best I can, because Lind was fired. The toxic note that protects the short sellers is gone. The 4 clients that Lynn syndicated the deal to, I assume, are still short, or at least one of them. Apparently, Jeffrey Epstein said, Jeff Easton said, maybe one of our clients is shorting it. I think they all are. That's what they do. They compartmentalize everything. So when you're talking to someone on Wall Street, a journalist, an investor, a big deal broker, an investment advisor, an overpaid wanker, they'll focus on the one narrow thing. Oh, well, there's systems in place for that. They don't allow that. But then for example, Jeff Easton can say, I'm not shorting. Well, it's his clients and his buddies are shorting, or it's another LLC. And you can say, well, Lynn Partners couldn't afford it. They couldn't be shorting. They only have 30 million, 40 million under management. How could they be doing it? Well, then you're only looking at a small sliver of the facts. The rest of the facts are they're just bounty. They just get a bounty for bringing in a victim. They bring in Finger. They bring in Created. They bring in the victim. They get a bounty, and they get a piece of the action. They don't afford those. They don't afford those midtown offices and all their pretension of success by making a sliver of the interest rate on these bonds. They don't make it on the discount to par. No, they make it because they get a bounty, and they get paid off. They get paid off. Speaking of CRTD, I wonder if CRTD is contagious now that I see it written out that way. Well, there you go, Brett. Sorry, I don't have my glasses, and I think I might have called you Brent. It's just a little blurry. I have an eye appointment on Friday. I'll find out. Get some legit glasses, maybe. But you're right. It's a Ponzi scheme. They are running out of liquidity. There's two. One of you guys asked the question, and I'm going to say it was I think the sale of shares without notice is bullshit. I really do. But I'm sure it's in the document that they can do it. Did Univest have an IPO today? I'll have to look it up. I know, Skinny. I said to the woman this morning, and she was very nice in her defense. I said, I bet that you have unsettled trades on your books of finger motion. And she was wondering which mental hospital I resided in. Yeah, exactly. They don't understand. I'm going to write a letter tonight. I don't expect any recompense, but I've heard. Well, anyway, I'm going to write a letter about it because her arguments were not internally consistent, as she was trying on the one hand to say it was my responsibility, and on the other hand, I said, well, you didn't talk to me. You didn't talk to me. How can it be my responsibility? Am I in a mental hospital now? Well, Deacon Blues, I was watching a video the other night, and I didn't watch it all, but the headline I saw. And what caught my attention, of course, you don't have to believe me, Deacon Blues, but I've often wondered, what is that universe when we see all those pictures, all that energy and light? Anyway, the headline said, are we living inside of a brain? Because when you take pictures of the activity of a brain, it looks just like the universe. And that was exactly what the thought that I had, the same one. So it shows that we all have the same thoughts. Our brains are just receivers for the same thoughts. One flew over the cuckoo nest. Am I not seeing any Univest magic on this IPO? DTCK. I don't want to say that one out loud. DTCK. No, they're not fake, but they need to be replaced. They need to be replaced. They're everything around me is aging. I'm crazy for feeling so lonely. Crazy for feeling so blue. Worry. Hey, Frank. Thanks for joining. Hey, William, why GTI haven't had any transparency on the Trento acquisitions? Whatever happened to 1-800-Lawyers? Well, the 1-800-Lawyers didn't happen, and they released that it wasn't going to happen. And there's been transparency to the extent they're allowed on the Trento acquisition. But you're right, there's also a Mexican property that might be included. It's on the website. The status is still open, but Frank, they're not going to share blow by blow in the press. to answer the question, I think 1-800-Lawyers isn't ever going to happen, and it didn't happen. There was so many delays in there that, to me, and I said it on my calls, and you probably weren't there, Frank, but it just started to seem like the reasons weren't the rationale. It's just that they didn't want to do it. So it didn't happen. That was a deal with a guy, I think lives in Detroit, the president of that firm, and I think he maintains a residence also in Puerto Rico. And I just think at the end of the day, like a lot of deals, you can put a lot of work into them. The two parties fall in love with each other, and then they, one of them in the morning says in their head, "Will you just leave?" While the other one wants to stay for breakfast. Could you just leave? Anyway, partnerships don't always work out. On the Trento mine deal, there's so many moving parts. It's not all GTII. There's South America, specifically Chile. There's Mexico. There's language, English, Spanish. There's GTII in the U.S. There's banks around the world trying to put the deal together. Then you had the COVID. Then you had the little bit of a financial crisis. Then you had that bank in California that populated its board with woke, unqualified Democrats rather than with bankers, contributors. So they, like some other banks too, they went ahead and went long on 0.5% bonds without thinking that interest rates could ever go up. And then actresses like Sharon Stone were going to lose everything, but Janet Yellen came and bailed them all out. That apparently, to my information, I cannot confirm the information, is where the original, when we heard that the deal was financed, that's where they deposited the money. I can't prove that. I was told that. Now, Frank, for me to come on and repeat that, what I've heard as I'm talking to people, I can tell you now it's over with. But at the time, it really smacks of, wait a minute, is that confirmed? What are you doing? Frank, you can't be totally transparent when you're trying to bag the deal. So my understanding now on Trento is, remember, Trento Mines is the mine that has to be funded, not GTII. My understanding is that financing, after another long delay from SVB, not related to SBF, my understanding is that financing is finished, but that's not transparent enough for you. I don't think the company is ever going to come out. You got to remember, Frank, if the companies come out, and I guess you're not a broker, you're probably not a securities lawyer, if CEOs and board members of companies come out with information piecemeal, oh, well, we're talking to this guy, it seems like the financing's done, and boom, they can go to jail. They can go to prison if they tell a few people, and we know it, and they can go to jail. And guess what the SEC does go after is CEOs. So the people selling GTII stock endlessly, remorselessly, that doesn't exist, Gary Gensler doesn't care. Hey, they're just keeping the markets clean. The argument is so circular Anyone would short that stock. They don't have anything. There's no employees. Well, how the heck are you supposed to build your company when the very currency that allows you to buy assets, employees, technologies, revenues, criminals short to oblivion, so it's worthless. They counterfeit it. Well, imagine if the United States had to fight on the world markets with dollars which were counterfeited. Oh, yeah. Oh, they do? Yeah, they go after it. They arrest those people. But anyway, tired of talking about it. So frankly, I think if you take some time, go to OTC markets, type in GTII, it takes a little effort. You know, you probably have to sit down with a beer and spend 20 minutes. But you can go through all the news stories that GTII has announced to the world under Regulation FD, rather than being partially transparent with some investors and then get thrown in jail. They've been fully transparent, and they've followed Reg D, FD. And if you notice, I'll make a bet without looking right now, you'll find out that GTII on average has 2 news announcements a month. I bet that's still true, sometimes more. I don't know of a company that does a better job of being fully transparent, of releasing the news when they can, and letting everybody know on a level playing field. So that's my answer, Frank. Speaking of level playing fields, how come the shorts can know everything? The data's all there for them to see. How come we can't know daily what are the failed to locates, failed to delivers, the exceptions that are illegal? How come we can't know that number daily? They always say, well, you can't know what what shares got covered, what shares delivered. Give us that data. Why is it hidden? Reg FD, my dog's butt. Reg FD only works in one direction, for the criminals. And do I need to say it again? If Goldman Sachs does it, it's not illegal. And if somebody finds out about it, it was just inadvertent. I'll tell you something else. If Goldman Sachs does it, it's profitable. Really, really, really profitable. And they don't want to end it. It would, yeah, that's what, was that in writing, James Flowers, or was that in his oral testimony? It would expose proprietary trading practices. It would expose cheating. What, with all respect to my dear friends at Not Legal Advice, because I don't think it applies to them, one of the biggest problems in this country is it's taken over by lawyers. And it's not about, hey, we cheated. It's about exposing proprietary trading practices. I guess if you go to Harvard or Yale or other places and you got a law degree, you can say whatever the heck you want to say, and that's what they're scared of on the blue sheets is they don't want Citadel to find out that, I'm making it up, Merrill Lynch has the most exposure, because Citadel would go short Bank of America stock. I know, that's my sister's joke. All lawyers are good, down deep. 6 feet under. My dad always used to say liars and lawyers, lawyers and liars, or something like that. I have a uncle by marriage that said he wants to go through his whole life without ever hiring a lawyer. I don't agree with that. I think you have to hire lawyers, and you have to hire them early. And there's a lot of really good lawyers out there. I hear a little Clint Eastwood. Why didn't I think of that? Trying to think of a new, different Clint Eastwood that I hadn't used in a while. Well, we did, and I should tell that to Frank too, but we did hire a firm at GTII Optics, and they did put it out, and to get everybody to give an affidavit of how many shares they owned, and it all went to the transfer agent, Liberty. And to my memory, they found out that there was a position. It's by memory, so I could be way off. That there was something like 60 million shares undelivered at TD Ameritrade. Both points I just made are from my memory, so they both could be wrong. But it's not so much about being exact. It's just they found some anomalies. But what was interesting, I also heard that only about 35-40% of the people responded. Lawyers are like used car salesmen. You need them. I don't think they're all like used car salesmen at all. I actually think you need them. I think people need them. You do a lot more damage. See, these messages over here used to be down here. So now I'm over. I got to learn. I wonder if I could swap it, because I like looking at you rather than looking away from you. But I'll have to look and see if there's a way to swap it. Or maybe I can turn this whole thing upside down. What does the fortune cookie say? It says you're shit out of luck. How do you know politicians are lying? I think it's more interesting, Maverick Trader, to ask, can you lie while you lay, or do you can lie while you lay, but can you lay while you lie? And I never know. Well, hello there. How am I doing? I guess I'm doing fine. I like lawyers because at least they're intelligent. Yeah, you got more in the low fives. Unfortunately, my account was blocked. By the time I bought calls, the stock was at 560. So I overpaid. They bought my, they exit. It gives me a headache. What's the difference between a lawyer and a gigolo? I'm just a gigolo. Oh, that's not true that a gigolo only screws one person at a time. Oh, you mean literally at a time? I would imagine gigolos have just as many clients in their clientele as lawyers. Hi, Sunil. Sutankar. Is the problem lawyers or Shakespeare? Is it in our stars or in our hearts? Optics matters. Could be days or weeks on Univest. My lawyers look for easy money. It's hard to find a good lawyer that wants to fight nowadays. Oh, absolutely. I introduced him to some attorneys, some really good attorneys, and they saw the flaw. And this is why you got to admire what Not Legal Advice is doing, what Howard is doing, what Rose is doing, although he can't do it always, what Mark Bazile is doing. Wes doesn't. Wes gets paid or he doesn't work. That's a good point, Skinny. I wish this was over here. Can I move it over here? No. Maybe I can read it on my phone and no. I'm going to have to come up with a way. Maybe I have to sit over here so it looks, or maybe I have to get another camera so I can put the camera there and I can be looking at you. There's all sorts of possibilities. If you need to hire a lawyer, don't let them talk you into avoiding court. File and get discovery. That will end the suit instantly. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Pixie Belle. I like that name, Pixie Belle. I'm going to assume that's a girl, not a guy. I'm sorry, Killing Cats, kindly. I didn't realize you were a guy, but you a bounty hunter? Man's got to do something for a living. Dying ain't much of a living, boy. You know, it doesn't have to come down to this. You can just ride on out of here. I had to come back. Yeah. You, Josie Wales? You're a wanted man. I reckon I'm right popular. I'm Rose. Rose of San Antone. Surely you've heard of me. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. How does it work on stains? Dating a lawyer is a lot like being in court trial every day. They like to argue, and they never pay. They want a receipt. You go to bed with them, they want a receipt. I didn't ask. That was Jack Nicholson. Jerry Hall comes up behind. He's looking in the mirror, and she blonde puts her hand on his shoulder. He looks down at her, looks up, like, "Don't touch me." She said, "You look really nice, Jack." I didn't ask. We all have a story to tell, but the person with the best story always wins. I've been thinking a lot. Maybe it's because I've been listening to some talks. A lot of it's ego, and we get in our head. Our brains trick us. I'm dying here. I sound like Clint trying to do impression of Batman. You can't handle the truth. I can't do Jack Nicholson. That's a difficult one. I can't really. I like the one for on. I put it up and some people got offended, but Jimmy Dore has a comedian on his calls called Mike somebody, and he does a perfect imitation of Mo Green. He does a perfect imitation of the guy with the movie director with the horse. Yeah, I think you have to ban credit swaps if that's what you call the contracts they create. Would that be Tom Turner, whose Crooked River Ranch is over by the Blood Butte? I can't quite place it, but I know that was said by a woman, I think. Keep doing the impressions and risk demonetizing this video? Really? Really? That would mean I'd have to do a pretty darn good impression. We all wrote the script in our past lives. I don't know. I would agree with you, M. Casey, maybe in your past life, God gave you like choices. Like if you wanted a great mother, you had to be with a difficult brother. Or if you wanted the most beautiful woman in the world to marry you, you also had to deal with the fact that she, did drugs or something. I don't know. If you're right that we all wrote our own script, I don't think there'd be so much misery. I'm dying here. Sunflowers are beautiful. Thank you. Dating a lawyer. I heard short hedge funds did debt swaps to hide their name. I think that's, Bruce, I think that they do that in Finger. I like that. I wish, was that from the movie, when he was an older guy and he was guarding the yard next door? You ever notice you come across once in a while someone you shouldn't have messed with? That's me. Oh, I was telling you, yeah, lawyers with these deals that we're involved in, lawyers back off once they realize that the big money is the broker-dealers, because the broker-dealers have us all sign arbitration clauses. So what Richard's doing, going after Fidelity, I guess it's because it's his own account, and I guess he doesn't pay himself. He's really doing a service and a favor for all of us. I really liked when my messages scrolled right here so I could read them. I also liked when they scroll. These don't scroll. These, you have to move them. Gran Torino, that was the name. I knew it was a green. Yeah, Gran Torino. I know, Skinny. The whole thing is so bloody rigged. And I'm worried about a couple of things in the Finger trade. I'm worried that the overall market could collapse so miserably in October. Everyone's talking about it, which means, it's not going to happen. On the other hand, that's usually when it does happen. The other thing I worry about is what one of the guys said on this, and I didn't get to ask him, is what if Univest doesn't appreciate that we're all talking about it? I've given a thought to that. I think if Univest cared about us, last week, they would have supported the stock on the last couple of days. Why? Because the stock was set up for a gamma squeeze. There were an enormous amount of people in the calls. There were people who, if the stock had just gone 8, 9, 10, would have come in to drive it higher. There, it could have triggered the short squeeze. My opinion, Univest doesn't need us. And it just doesn't really matter. So I think we're just, a gnat on a, it doesn't matter. We're trying to ride the tiger. We're not the tiger. Metamaterials, there you go, MKC. So it begins. 180-day extension to like now I lost the all right, can you click on the 3 dots where it says live chat and then you pop out chat? Let me see. I know it sounds, I know it, I'm sure that sounds mighty cozy, but I don't find you men all that attractive. Well, there's 3 dots. I don't think anyone can do an impression on me. Oh, if I hit it, it pops up here. So if I hit this one, no, it pops up here. You guys can see it. I don't deserve this. I was building a house. Deserves got nothing to do with it. But that didn't scare little Bill, did it? You just killed an unarmed man. He should have armed himself if he's going to go decorating his saloon with my friend Ned. There it is, Metamaterials. Here, I'm going to put this one up. There you go. Metamaterials receives a 180-day extension to achieve NASDAQ minimum bid compliance. Wah, 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 wah. I can bring guests on to do impressions of me. Just sing out a key and you got it. If a hedge fund owns me, Mr. Fund, please tell me. I think MMAT will be shorted, and then they'll do a reverse split, and then it'll be shorted again. You understand why the hedge fund, the criminals want the reverse splits. You do understand it. I'm sure you understand it, but maybe I'll show it to those people, the slow students in the back of the room that were playing hooky, I guess if I get to understand how to use this, I might like it better. I'd like the screen to be bigger. The other one I use, my face takes up the whole screen, but then the comments are down here, and it makes me feel like somebody's watching me. I always feel like somebody's watching me. If I've got to add 1 0, so it'd be 1 0 0 0 0 0 0 boom 0 0 0. So if Lynn's client, whoever their client is, sold 100 million shares of Finger short in a typical situation, a real short, they might have to keep $10 a share in the account. And I think that works out to $1 billion in the account. This might be multiple clients, but let's just focus on one. Well, this doesn't count, by the way, some of the other things that can go on. I'm just using this broad example. What happens, though, if they're able to drive the stock down from 5 down to 10 cents, they won't be able to. Don't worry about it. But that's what their goal is. Or it gets it down to a penny, gets it down to 20 cents. In the contract, it says if you get delisted, it's an event of default. And the C goes, I can't afford a default. I've got all these other contracts. I'm trying to get customers, so I got to do everything. Well, the only thing you can do, smiling face says to the CEO, you can go to the NASD, we'll give you 180 days, and you can reverse split. Well, let's just say in this case, Finger went, I don't know, went to 10 cents, and to be listed, it had to be $1. So they did a 1 for 10 reverse split. So on the 100 million shares, which require $10 maintenance in the account at the prime broker, and I'm sure there's all tricks so this doesn't happen. All of a sudden that 100 million shares becomes 10 million shares, which still require the same $10. But instead of needing $1 billion in the account, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So instead of needing $1 billion in the account to maintain maintenance, they only need 100 million in the account. So all of a sudden, $900 million is freed. They can take 900 million illicitly gained funds away from the prime broker without paying taxes. There's no 1099s. There's no closing transaction. So this is how these funds turn, and this is how the cheaters, this is why it's so profitable for Morgan Stanley Prime Brokerage. They can turn $1 billion maintenance required tied up at the brokerage firm into 100 million, or even less if they did a different reverse split. And then $900 million gets released. They can invest it. They can send it overseas. They can go criminalize another company. And it happens all day long. And when guys fight it and girls fight it, oh, you're crazy. It's not going on. That's not happening. The amount of money, I don't know why Pablo Escobar got involved in drugs. He could make more money being a hedge fund out of Germany or out of Panama or out of Colombia. From an ancient something. I can't say the letter C. The Buller supplement, Columbia. Can you say the letter K? Yes, car key, kiwi, Kipling. But why don't you substitute the letter K wherever you see the letter C? Ah, I see. What a stupid bunt. I would like to see MMTLP settled with, oh, I see. I'll just hit this. then I can look over there. I would like to see MMTLP settled with a decent number. I would get out of stocks. Nasty business, this. I feel like MMTLP, you're going to be offered a settlement. I don't have any information. No one's told me that, but it just feels like they're working toward that. But we'll find out. Imagine how much money would be in the U.S. Treasury coffers. Absolutely. Imagine how nice a woman who bathes would be. But I agree with you. I mean, they've got the 80,000, like you say, the 80,000 IRS agents, and instead they let trillions. I should get that article out. It's over there. And I maybe learn how to put it down here. It's all learning. But anyway, trillions. And maybe Bernie Sanders used to be right. We should tax high frequency trading. What's the purpose of high frequency trading other than to turn every stock, every company, every asset into a commodity, and it becomes a game of pong for money? There is a news article out about Finger. Yeah, there is. I read it. I can read it again. KYP. That's Ham's blown out toe. Here's the article, Ocean Sailing. It's called Finger Motion, a closer look at its 500% surge. It's got it, I guess, for purposes of seeming fair. It has a bit of a kind of goes against us a little bit. I got to move out. Finger Motion continues to gain traction in recent months, gaining over 500% since June 9, 2023, this year. If you're reading this now, you're likely Why did that happen? I don't understand why that happened. I have a paid subscription. I wanted to be a nurse. Based on their latest announcements, there are no dramatic changes fundamentally to warrant such price action. I disagree with that. That's just a statement, and it's opinion by Philip Stein. I don't think he's right. There's plenty of changes, particularly on the revenue side. They drove their revenues to 12 million last quarter when their milestone was 10 million in the face of a continued COVID lockdown. I just disagree with him. And they're ready for the second stage of their science on data that they're doing with MetLife and Pacific Re. They've got the Apple Care rollout, the so-called Apple Care rollout. I just don't agree with them. Yet their stock continues on a significant upward trend. From what we've seen, it appears to be the force of retail investors banding together to combat against manipulation. I don't agree with that either. Yes, retail is in, but the buying started before retail, before we got involved. And I don't care how often you guys say, well, I bought 500 shares, I bought 10,000, it doesn't add up to the volume numbers we're seeing. I think he's wrong on that too. To combat against manipulation, we are banding together on that, but potentially creating the ultimate short squeeze. Thoughts from retail. As per retail investors and notable Twitter user known as Ham Short Killer, there is widespread concern regarding potential manipulation within finger motion. The chair of the U.S. Securities Stock Exchange, Gary Gensler, I was going to say Gary Goober Gensler, but that's unfair, is facing increasing criticism from investors who assert that the SEC tends to overlook white-collar crime and allegations. By the way, this gun charge against Hunter, it's on a weak statute that's already been kicked out in another court. So I think it's to show they're being tough, but nothing will happen. Anyway, white collar. To see what the fuss is about, feel free to look into this video. Kristen Shaughnessy shared on Twitter. Yay, Kristen Shaughnessy. Is that Kirsten or Kristen? There's a great New York, I'll try to find it. That's great. They put Kristen's video from Twitter. Excellent. We can see what it is. If it's me, I'm not watching it. It is me. I'm not watching it. You guys can watch it later. Okay. A lot of the commotion is around stock manipulation and malpractice by notable hedge funds. One user, Big C, commented on the post above, $40 billion shock to the system. At what point does Jefferies realize they aren't stopping the finger deluge and begin to mitigate losses? Or do they just roll over and become Melvin Capital and let themselves implode? Unlike Melvin, there won't be any Citadel to write them a $10 billion check. That's pretty fair. Subscribe to Microcap Daily. That's the extent of the article. Thank you, Ocean Sailies. Can I don't know how to post a link. It says down here, having issues. I want to say yes, I'm having issues. It's on Microcap Daily, MI.com, microcapdaily.com, microcapdaily.com. It's a conspiracy theory. IRS is controlled by, okay, if I punch this, IRS is controlled by the cabal, deep state, Federal Reserve, the Crown always has. IRS is I better not read that out loud. That might be something that, in our democracy dies in darkness. But let's go ahead and restrict what people can say for the benefit of democracy. Does anyone know Ham's real name? Does anyone really care? I do. If all naked short selling was stopped tomorrow, what would happen? We would be like, yeah, we just need it to happen in finger. Unfortunately, I think it was Skinny Whale, actually. For me, I should have just bought stock 6 months ago instead. Anyway, I'm showing to you that my lectures to you that you got to take the new day. Those are the facts. Yesterday doesn't matter. There's no woulda, coulda, shoulda in baseball. No crying in trading. There is, but you can't do anything about what's past. What's past is past. The article, I don't know how to post a link. The article is Finger Motion, A Closer Look, Philip Stein, and it is on microcapdaily.com. Microcap Daily. MMAT needs revenue big time, and they also need it in size. A little bit of revenue is not going to stop the shorting. Not with the deal, not with the volumes and everything. If they had, I mean, I'm just fantasizing. If they had $250 million advance from Saudi Arabia or something, with a promise to on a contract of $1 billion. If they had that and they already knew their profit margins, they could make a distribution of $10 a share or whatever. I don't know how many shares are outstanding, but some dramatic distribution. And I don't know if it would cause a short squeeze, but buyers that wanted to get that dividend would drive the stock up, particularly if they could say, we'll give $1 now and we'll pay 25 cents a quarter, $1 a year. People are going to want it. They would love to get 10% yield. So they'll drive the stock to $1. At least that's my theory. Has Ham put the Lynn Partners billboard truck outside Lynn Partners Prime Broker Jeffries to put the pressure on Jeffries? Presser now is the shortened word for press conference that came from the UK. So I guess that's why your spell check put presser. No, we haven't done that. It's a good idea. I'll try to remember to do it. Not legal advice. I think Univest does not care about us, but did care about the company because those companies are their business. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that completely. I also think Univest does everything by the book, and why, they've got a franchise, and I think it's very valuable. Do you think if more CEOs tell the NASDAQ to go pound sand and got to OTC and avoid dilution through reverse split hedge fund? Yes, I think so. But the over-the-counter market has been completely abandoned by Wall Street, abandoned by bankers, abandoned by research firms, abandoned by broker-dealers, abandoned by the SEC. The over-the-counter market is truly orphaned, truly orphaned. Around here, we got something known as the Missouri Boat Ride. Not legal advice says, I think if you press on the message or comment, you can move it to the bottom of your screen. And I say, if you take that bill you're sending me, no, I'm just kidding. This don't mean we'll be taking long showers together. Ooh. We're cooking with the gas. All right, so it seems like we've run out of topics, or we've run out of listeners. So it's 5:26. I'll go 4 more minutes and then call it. And maybe we could have, it'd be interesting to have maybe some of you come on with me. I don't know how to do it, but we could have more than one person talking. Be interesting if you could keep me from talking, but I think you can. We could have a little interview or something. Learn about each other. So there's no more comments. 4 minutes to go. I feel like I'm talking to myself. because nobody's home. Maybe it stopped. Maybe it stopped. It seems to still be going. I feel like this video is stopped because no one's responding. So I'll say good night, but I'm not sure I'm saying good night to anybody. Thank you for joining us. I think last night devastated a lot of us. It hurt me in finger. So bravo for the bullies. But we'll see what happens this month. And we don't know. So I'm going to say peace, love, and happiness and end the stream.